red-white midrange. This was a deck that we had played earlier on in the format that is in the high potential section of my website, because not only did it feel good when I played it, but a bunch of other people have played it to reasonable success. Charizard James in chat, who donated for this today, I believe they played it up to like a top 50 position on the ladder at one point, so it's just a collection of like pretty good cards in general. One thing to note, though, is that the format has changed a little bit since the last time that we played that, and it's important when you're playing an interactive mid-range deck that you understand what the format is that you're playing against and how you want to best be attacking it. So one change I've made in this build compared to some of the past builds is, instead of playing Reidane in the main deck as kind of a 3-mana hate card, Gideon to the Trials is a card that I'm going to be playing today and I'm going to be recommending on my website. And the reason for this change is, when we were first playing this deck, the combo decks that we were looking to position ourselves against were things like the Emergent Ultimatum deck and other decks that were playing like go big style combo spells. And with Tainted Pact becoming the premier combo deck in the format, Reidane's stock has gone down a bit. I still got a couple of copies of her in the sideboard, because you do occasionally run into Mizzet's Mastery or Ultimatum decks, and she is fine against control. But Gideon, having that emblem that says as long as he's out, you can't lose the game, is basically a permanent-based hate piece that you get to play against the what's it called, decks that you get to play against the Tainted Pact decks. The rest of the deck, still pretty same core. Skyclave and Elite Spellbinder is interaction. Adanto Vanguard is a sticky threat. Helix and Bonecrusher Giant for interacting with early things on the board. Chandra and Glorybringer at the top end to generate card advantage. We got Combat Flamescroll Celebrant here, which Revel in Silence is actually interacted against Tainted Pact. You can Revel in response to one of their combo pieces so they can't play the second, which is nice. And then we also have, I'm trying out today a couple copies of Blinkmoth Nexus here in the mana base. Why not 4 bangers? I've actually never played 4 Glorybringers in any of the iterations of this archetype. There's only so many slots for big expensive spells in this format where you frequently die on turn 3 and turn 4. So while Glorybringer is excellent, drawing too many of them early is going to clunk up your hand. It's going to cost you games. Yeah, the shield side of Reidane is very reasonable, but like Gideon's also just like a decent card too in a lot of matchups. Like, while the you can't lose the game text is explicitly good against Pact, he's also just a threat that doesn't die to Wrath of God against the control decks. He can make your opponent's creatures not deal damage for a turn cycle against creature decks. We got a land to play the 5-drop? Yeah. Yeah, I think 26 lands is plenty. Our curve basically stops at 4. Marino, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel today. Let's get our Flamescroll beat down on here. Sweet, so we're gonna get to curve Flamescroll into Gideon here. Gideon plussed up to 4 here so he doesn't die to Lightning Helix. I'm going in.
Not on my watch.
Morning, Manny. How's my memory this morning? Still having issues trying to remember things, chat.
Not if I can help it.
I choose to not run this into a counterspell here. Had a lot of fun watching the Sultai deck, so I figured I'd ask for a run back. Thank you for the bits, Navier. That's very generous of you. Let me know if you'd like to see that first thing tomorrow or at another day or time this week. Happy to do whatever works best for you. Is this deck slowly morphing into Chad turns? Not at all. Tomorrow's good? Perfect. Yeah, it'll be our first thing tomorrow morning then. Hey, Ballhead, thanks for the 19 months. All right, sweet. So Brainstorm here means we're not getting Gear Hulk this turn, which is great. Captain Wasabi. Morning. So they're dead. This is 11-13. Need like something weird like a Spell Pierce. We play Ally of Zendikar over some Chandras if that card was legal. Yeah, I think my gut instinct, if I had Ally of Zendikar, I'd try like a 3-3 split Lambton. Play like 6 4-drops.
That's enough.
So Thalia comes in here. Big Chandra comes in here. Reidane comes in here. Skyclave Apparition comes out. I'm going to be honest, Ryumi. I have no idea what the prices of Boomer cards look like, so I don't, when you give me prices like that, I have no idea if that's good, bad, or otherwise. So, Rip Apart seems fine here. This is a matchup where I missed on having more Rip Apart, because killing the random enchantments is good. Couple Rest in Peace is probably fine too. It turns off their Gear Hulks flashing things back, and it makes their Azcanthus worse. Yeah, listen, chat, the Magic Arena economy isn't perfect, but it's also not like $150 Allosaurus Shepherd issues, so as someone who dealt with paper for a long time, like, paper has its issues too. Hey, Tokyo, thanks for the 1.5 years, welcome back. And Arados, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Look at the way they massacred my gal, chat. Good to be back, Aishin. It's good. It's good to have a Magic format that feels worth playing. For a while there, Magic was rough. I thought it was a joke about Allosaurus Shepherd, but holy God, I looked it up. Yeah, no, I'm not kidding. They're like $150 because of Jumpstart supply issues. Like,
I know 88 worth of thoughtfulness before action.
yeah. I am cautiously optimistic that as someone who's experienced a wide range of magical format issues over the years, I am cautiously optimistic that we can avoid another Eldraine level screw up.
Focused.
Eldraine was a pretty unique situation as far as screw up goes. I don't know if this play is good, but basically trading my Flamescroll for a Bonecrusher, which I think is an okay exchange. Gideon is good against Tainted Pact. Dr. Jezen. I'm going to play Historic Brawl. Nope. We're actually dead to a Helix, right? Am I supposed to down-tick Chandra so I don't die to Helix? I think I am. Dead to Gear Hulk.
Let's make some more room to fight in.
There's one country I want to visit when the pandemic's finally done. I don't really have a desire to leave the United States, if I'm being honest. The United States has a huge wealth of different experiences and things here, like, I don't really have a compelling reason to go venture off into other things. Plus, like, sitting in an airplane for extended periods of time isn't a great experience. I don't know. I'm a pretty boring person, chat. Like, Christy and I went on all expenses paid trips to both the Bahamas and Hawaii in the before times, and like, I don't know, a beach is a beach. Like, yeah, there's like some interesting like sights and stuff, but like whatever. Like I wouldn't have spent. If I had gone on those trips and I had spent my own money going on those trips, I would have been annoyed that I spent my own money. My kids are old enough for international travel. I mean, my kids didn't go with me to those other places. Like, when I said my wife and I went to these places, like, you like my kids stayed with a relative. I don't think chat, the people that are talking about traveling, I don't think the people in chat talking about traveling quite really understand how little my lifestyle changed during the pandemic. Like, the things that changed about my lifestyle were like my children not going to school and me no longer going to the gym, not really me no longer traveling places. I'm looking forward to feeling reasonable about going to the gym again. That's something I'm going to do. I'd like to exercise more than the walking I do around my neighborhood. Me too, except the jib thing. I didn't do that before. Yeah, Chad, I got 500 down, 500 up internet. Why do I need to leave my house? I spent a lot of money on my house. Why would I want to go to other places? My home is very nice. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Let's build a basement gym. You don't have to go anywhere. Yeah, it's like both expensive and I have to deal with having space for it here, which doesn't sound great. The biggest thing that changed about my routine was the government decided it was called the quarantine.
Gods of this world are worthy of service. I've been waiting for this.
I want to go to Gen Con again. Like, when Christy and I would do trips, we would do stuff like that. Like, I don't feel comfortable going. Gen Con's happening this year, but I don't know that I feel comfortable going this year, even this fall. But I'm looking forward to that being something I do again. Does it smell like a Gear Hulk to anybody? Well, Gen Con's in Indianapolis now. Settle's not super common in these decks.
Getting through me.
Alright, chat. These Blinkmoth Nexuses, they're going the distance. They're going for speed. They're all alone. Do. This castle forces out the Helix. Chad, unfortunately, still dies. Gideon a little bit less good against the Gear Hulk variations of control. A little bit better against the more do-nothing configurations.
Not hurry.
Just a cake person, not a pie person. I like to think of cheesecake as being a healthy mix of the two. One of the few restaurants we actually don't have in Bloomington where I live is a Baker Square. I do love some Baker Square pie. Are they dead to no interaction? No. We're getting Magma Opus, so we're dead. just did here, unfortunately. I'm gonna fire these up and pretend like they don't have it, but I'm gonna concede when they do. I didn't play Chandra because not only could they have a counterspell, but Chandra only goes to 5, and they have a 5/6 in play. So playing my Planeswalker out. So only have it die seems like not a good line. Okay, so they must also have a memory lapse here. We're dead to double Helix here. Dead to Prismari Command Helix. Dead to 3rd Gearhulk Helix. You bring in Abrade to kill Gearhulk. That's super narrow. That's an argument to leave more rip apart in the sideboard, James. Well, he drew three Helix, 3 Gearhulk. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put a second Rip Apart back in the board. Abrade's really shitty in this matchup, whereas Rip Apart is very good. Rip Apart kills Torrential Gearhulk in spots like this. And it cleans up Narset, it cleans up Teferi, it cleans up Search Prayers, can't cast out if they're playing a card like that. Yeah, kill Shark Typhoon if the game gets to that point. So. Rip Apart does a lot. I think Jeskai Control is a bad matchup for this deck, so you're not 0%, but I definitely think you're less than 50. Especially the Typhoon, the Gearhulk Opus build. Opus is just so much value in a single card, and you have a little bit of a hard time killing them before they get to that point. Good shit, we're in the Gandalf bracket now. Yeah, control being favored against midrange is a very typical thing. Okapai, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And again, just that solidly wrong half problem that mid-range decks frequently have in game ones. And this is part of what makes these matchups extra hard for us overall, is, you know, I have like things like these Skyclave Apparitions that just like aren't good cards in these matchups.
I train every day. Hone your prowess.
So it's like I've basically double mulliganed this game because of the hand that I kept. This hand was very good against aggro, and it's very mediocre against this.
I won't forget our time together.
Imagine a game where these were Adanto Vanguards, right? Opponent probably just couldn't win. Okay. It's a little late, but might still do the trick. Yeah, we get to put them off Teferi for a little bit, so that's nice.
This is hardly my work.
Skyclave has a target. Yeah, kinda.
Practiced against meditate and prepare. I was not prepared for this.
How long have you been playing this deck? About half an hour. Friends. For the 5-month Strange Journey, welcome back. I will say that we're 2 matches in a row against these control decks where the Blinkmoths have looked much better than Shatterskull. Although I suppose in this instance it's probably going to get Field of Ruined. Alright, sure. This play pattern for my opponent's been a little bit baffling this game to try and figure it out.
Mysteries to uncover.
Man, I really wanted to draw an untapped land there. Yeah, are we just dead now? I think we're just dead now, right? We would have drawn an untapped land, we could have killed Narset. But now they get to memory. Oh, Dino Tramples. Good catch. Good catch. Okay. Seeing there's a chance.
Such violence is upsetting.
Listen. You're playing Narset with memory. I don't want to hear about violence, okay? You know, talk about violence. Violence against my hand size.
What must be done. Let's skip to the good part. Time for plan B. As soon as I think of one. Really should have seen that coming. going to sit this one out. Not so fast.
You know, quickly slipping away here. The good news is they can't memory without Narset, because we have so many chances to draw a burn spell if they do. We're all right. I mean, we have 10% of our deck that kills them because we have 4 lethal burn spells. And we have Chandras as well. Okay, so 20% of our deck kills them. I don't know that I'd say we're all right. And there's a good chance Glorybringer's no longer good enough. Yeah, because right, because they can make a princess on the ground here with the castle. All right, Glorybringer is no longer good enough. We're dead. We're not dead. There's no guarantee that they have a counterspell. He said before his opponent suspended a counterspell. I'm gonna take one more draw step, chat.
Let's skip to the.
They haven't fully broken me in half yet. I'm gonna take one more draw step. What's our out? Any of the cards that deal 2 damage, chat.
If you wish to surrender now, I understand. Keep an open mind.
Sacred Foundry is lethal as well. Yeah, you had a lot of draws there at the end. And like I said, I expect this matchup to be bad. And the answer to how do you make this matchup good is you play something else. Like decks like what we're playing are just gonna have bad matchups into the opponent's archetypes. Just kind of how it goes. Comes with the territory. Well, shit. You are welcome to donate $5, and I will spend that $5 on borderlessing the Flamescroll. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Odin. Yeah, I put the Sultai list up on the site. It's been real good.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Oh, thanks to the bits, goods. Will do. Give us a Flamescroll after this one. This'll be the last time I play against Control in this set, Rhino. We'll concede the rest of them.
Your weapons won't help you win.
Hey, thanks for the 35 months, Gideon. It's a long time, almost 3 entire years. I didn't. Is there anything in the MTGA announcement that's not just calendar stuff that's worth covering? Or is it just a calendar?
Focused and disciplined encounter no obstacles.
There's a good chance they just can't beat an emblem on this, right?
I need some company. Is it just me, or is it getting a little warm in here?
I think the Flamescroll's on 2 points at this point. It did 1 from Gideon and 1 from Narset. Got me. Yeah, they have sharks, but like they're on 5 lands, and their sharks aren't really going to get to. I mean, I guess when they activate Field of Ruin, they're gonna get pinged by the Flamescroll again. So we got that going for us. Need to shuffle Lady Chandra away here. That's his 4th point damage there. Nice, nice.
You want to play with fire, huh?
I want a 2-drop on 2. Memory lamps. Would you kindly? Asking the real questions.
Meditate and prepare.
Yup, you're going down.
Hey, Afternoon Dream. Thanks for the prem. Welcome back. Every down ticks on Chandra. We could step on him, plus play Adanto, but I'm far behind at this point. We just double spell this turn then? I was going to say something positive for 3 months, but there's 4 months left of Eldraine Standard. Oh, Standard. Sweet. We'll take a look at the new cards after this match. Like a cast out or a draw 2 here. Cyclone a shark, sure.
Oh, now you're asking for it.
Got him. Speaking of getting him.
Oh, this is gonna hurt. Get out of my way. I'm burning up here. I've got a burning desire to finish you.
Yeah, I think I want to put the second Awakened Inferno back in my board. She's so good in these matchups.
Right on schedule. We need to move quickly.
Looks like someone's getting a little sweaty.
I think this is an instance where I'm supposed to ignore the Tepri. With the third white source drawn, I'm going to make mana here. I'm going to Gideon.
Virtue will always triumph. going in.
Okay, bottoms up. You love to see it. Down to 9. So they gotta deal with the board. They gotta deal with planeswalkers.
Keep up the pace.
Even if they had something like a planar cleansing, there's 2 baffling ends in play.
No pressure. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
No, I don't think so.
They can make a token. Man, the fact that this is their best play with their mana this turn is, like, real good for us. Do I make a 3/3, or do I put the Teferi to 3? I think I make a 3/3, huh? Tick-tock goes the Chandra emblem clock, opponent.
Let's take it back.
Yup, you're going down.
Stand down.
This is red-white midrange, probs. Okay, so you're dead? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna put another Chandra in the board. I'm gonna get my foil Flamescroll that someone donated for, and then we'll take a look at the HA5 spoilers for the day. Shout out to Kuntz for my shinies. Big cutting from the sideboard for that. Okay. Yeah, I almost cut the Justice Strike, but James really likes Justice Strike, and he donated for the deck, so I'm gonna leave him his one Justice Strike. All right, Historic Anthology 5. They released a schedule saying we're gonna get spoilers from this set every day this week. So we got the last 2 days, today, tomorrow, and then Friday as well. Then we'll have the whole thing. First up here, we have Ichor Wellspring. So another kind of artifact enabler. When it enters the battlefield or is put in the graveyard of the battlefield, draw a card. We got Trash for Treasure in an earlier one, so I don't know if like Ichor Wellspring Trash for Treasure is necessarily powerful enough to see play in Historic. These could be one of the things you got to remember too with the Historic anthologies. They also set up like some cube inclusions in here, so like Wellspring Trash for Treasure definitely feels like some cube vibes. Noelle, thanks for the follow and for the brand new sub. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for the support. Reverse Engineer, improvise, draw 3 cards. Sure. So improvise means that you can tap artifacts to help cast this card. So it's another card that's like kind of cute with Wellspring, but I kind of feel like that's probably too low power level ultimately for the format. Ooh, that's a good observation. This is really good with Doom Foretold, huh? Like we've played some eggs with Doom Foretold before, and this draws 2 with that. So that's pretty good. Silumgar's Command. Okay, sure. So we got Jamoka's Command and Ojutai's Command on the first 2 days, and there's 5 days of spoilers, and this is the 3rd Khan's Command. So I would bet we're gonna get Kolaghan's Command and Atarka's Command as the last 2 days. Yeah, I would bet we get all 5. And honestly, you know, a lot of these historic anthologies tend to like not be worth buying because a lot of them have a lot of like mediocre or cube cards in them. But if you're gonna get, you know, all 20 commands, play sets of each of the commands, this one's probably worth picking up. Like, honestly, this is probably the worst of the 5 commands that will be in the cycle, and it might even be fringe playable in the format. And the other 4, I would be surprised if there aren't decks that end up with Homeswim. I do think this one is the weakest link at 5 mana of the command cycle. Brask the Hidden. Silumgar's Command will end up in pack combo. Yeah, it's good enough for the singleton deck. Sure. Brask the Hidden. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Yeah, this is the second Praetor we've seen, right? So I don't know if we're gonna necessarily get the full cycle because maybe they're gonna spoil 2 on a single day, but we saw what's it called? Elish Norn would be a sweet card. So like this doesn't quite feel good enough, I don't think, for the format. Like I don't even think Big Red wants this, but like if this and Vornklex are indications that Elish Norn and possibly Jin-Gitaxias are coming, both Elish Norn and Jin-Gitaxias would potentially be playable as reanimator targets. Like Jin-Gitaxias would be sweet, so kind of this is probably the weakest set of the spoilers that we've seen so far. We got kind of the dud of a command. Honestly, Ichor Wellspring might be the most playable out of this bunch that we dropped today. This is another cube card. So again, like mythics like this are like, well, do you really want to buy it? But like honestly, if we're getting 5 good rares, this anthology is probably worth picking up. Yeah, like this card does neat stuff. Like I said, it's a good cube card. This becomes legal in the honestly, you know, there's it's not called Pauper, but it's the non-rares format on Arena. And stuff like Ichor Wellspring and Reverse Engineer being legal in Artisan is probably a reasonable. The historic anthology cards are Artisan legal, right? So I would bet there's probably going to be a sweet artifact deck in that format with stuff like Wellspring and Reverse Engineer and Trash for Treasure. Because Trash for Treasure is also an uncommon, so this is kind of a good drop for Cube, and this are kind of a good group of cards for Cube and Artisan, but not really relevant for historic. Yeah, Artisan doesn't have an always on queue, does it? Look at that gorgeous Flamescroll Celebrant. No second white, but I have like Celebrant into Spellbinder, so I think this is keepable. Likely green-white company. Well, they're gonna get to cast that.
Retreat.
Retreat. Straw. Are you ready, chat? Bonecrusher's ready. Dunk. I mean, it's true. Activating Scavenging Ooze dings them for 2, which is funny. Is there anything that feels Magic Man more than the opponent drawing the perfect curves after you look at their hand? Please brick. Please brick. Please brick. Please brick. They didn't brick, chat. You only have that many cards for this matchup? I think I bring in Chandra just like as a go over the top play. Flamescroll's kind of meh here. Math Teacher Gaming, thanks for the 32 months. You're in good company. We're supposed to leave some Gideons in. He is soft removal. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Green-White Company decks want to adopt Dramoka's command. I appreciate the information on the username swap. See, I feel like I would have recognized Math Teacher Gaming as a username in the first 31 months. Is Big Red decent in the historic metagame? No, I don't think so. I think if you want to play a kind of artifact rampy deck in this format, you want to play mono black artifacts, basically. Having access to Thought Seize and things like Extinction Event are good. Jamoka's command is going to be very good in Feather, because that card's also good with Dreadhorde Arcanist. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this matchup, his matchup feels like it probably resolves around a few key cards. Their collected companies being good are probably one of the best things on their side, and Glorybringer is one of our better tools on our side. Chandra can occasionally be good here, but that's only if she's not getting pressured off the board right away. Get Bubble Boy into play here.
Ketra, watch over. Now it's my turn.
Alright, so we have a 7-mana dragon. My guess is this channel is an outlier in the number of math background subs. I would wager that in general, Twitch probably has a bias towards math and science people that are aware it exists. And then Magic as a game probably has an even stronger bias as well. So compared to Twitch as a whole, I would bet that's the case. But compared to just like Magic on average, I bet we're pretty par for the course. You like Reidane in this matchup? Oh, that makes sense. Board her in for game 3. Making my rip apart cost more there is interesting. Maybe they have another Spellbinder here. Yeah, the making my thing cost 4 feels like second Spellbinder. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I mentioned a second ago, Glorybringer is just like such an important piece of the puzzle. Hair care, thanks for the follow. I don't have much hair to care for these days though. Well, I'm gonna take the thing that's not like the others, but wouldn't be surprised if we're dead.
Let's do this one-on-one.
What's going on, Hamilcoin?
I'm sorry.
All right, Glorybringer. We're dead? I don't know about dead. Their second company might be bad. Bringer's like pretty good in this matchup. It's worth a couple of cards. Dodge 2 flying creatures here. Okay, 0 flying creatures. I get a 3/3 back. Not Blastoise. That doesn't seem very useful in identifying who you are. Not dead yet. Yes, against Dragon Deck Circuit Dragon is kicking and screaming back into the game. Yeah, big Chandra's a great draw here too. I boarded in 2 of those. It's not good enough, is it? We're one point short. We're one point short. I guess they have Hepshed Oasis too. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely the control deck, James. That's why I brought the Chandras in. Chandra's like a Wrath that's like still good when we have a board that we don't want to get rid of. Yeah, we're just dead here, unfortunately. Chandra's like a flexible sweeper that's also like good in the control matchup. She's obviously slower than Wrath of God, but she could usually afford, like, the games go like that in this matchup a lot of the time, where you can afford to cast a big spell. Like casting a 6 or 7 mana Chandra. 7 mana Glorybringer, etc. Okay, Tainted Pact. Let's go. On the play, do you want to kill their ramp elf with Helix / Bonecrusher? Depends on what the rest of your hand looks like. Is there not a Boros cycling land? There is not. The colors that have fast lands in Arena don't have a 2-color cycling land. Am I dead? God, it feels bad to have to ask that question starting on turn 4. Just like from no board. Like, alright, you haven't done anything. Am I dead? Survey says. Gotta kill Jace, otherwise we could lose to a Pact next turn.
Today's my lucky day.
He's very... We tried, chat. We tried. I mean, they might not have it. They had to Pact of Negation us because they're dead the next turn, so like... Oh, we had 3 copies of Chad, Bob. Actually, one of the additions we made to the deck today was adding Chad. All right, one timeout down. Yeah, definitely, Baron. Sounds super reasonable. All right, we got Pact of Negated, but we survived. God bless us, everyone. All right, so Reidane, Archon, Thalia all come in here. I guess I leave a couple of Helixes in for reach. Thanks for the third of the year. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Sure. Hey, thanks for the sub gift, Juggalos. I revel in silence during my turn. No, I revel in silence during their upkeep, Rifle Mike. Before they drew for the turn. They like to keep in some Apparition for their artifact. Sure, I can see that. Maybe that's better than... Maybe that's better than the couple copies of Lightning Helix I left in.
Those who cannot perceive beyond the veil keep an open mind.
We're still, like, super far off from killing them here, so, like, if they have the combo, they have the combo. I'm gonna go ahead and stop their Narset from impulsing and then deploy a second threat here. Yeah, I ultimately decided to leave 3-mana Chandra in the Chad turns deck, Bob. I decided to split them 2-2 with the sideboard, the main deck, but if you wanted to test something else, History of Benalia could be reasonable. Well, so the problem is, if you revel in silence in response to the Oracle, they just pact in response to your revel in silence, deck themselves, then the Oracle resolves and wins the game. So, it's only good as a time walk. Which, a lot of the times, time walk's what you need. You one more turn to win the game, but it's not some good big interaction thing. Magic servers are really not working well, are they? Well, you know. Water, wet, grass, green. Day ends and why. Alright, so we're dead next turn if we don't draw interaction. Yes! Chad is here, chat. And he is wonderful. So, for the record, no always beats yes. So when Chad says, I can't lose the game, yeah! Gideon! 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 When Chad says we can't lose the game, that beats our opponent's card saying they win the game. They have any way to remove Chad? I mean, yeah, they have ways to take Gideon off the table, but I had them dead on board, so, like, they didn't have time to, like, take Gideon off the table and not be dead. Where's the bucket of Gatorade to pour over Chad? Yep. Solid curve here.
Gods of this world, you'll have to get through me first.
Hey, we were talking about this deck earlier. Black artifact deck. Gopher, I think there is a strong argument that the Tainted Pact deck is not overpowered, but it's just not interesting or healthy play patterns that it creates. Alright, Jen, I'm going to attack for 8, and then I'm going to cast Time Walk. As a parent, this is something I rarely get to do, chat. So revel in the silence for a moment with me. I completely disagree with you, Topher. I think the average person playing the average match against Pact where suddenly shit just happens and none of their decisions mattered and they die is the opposite of fun for most people. I wouldn't call any Magic deck skillless, but to say that the average case game is fun, I think is I think most players would disagree with you. Yeah, I'm gonna time walk them again this turn too. Revel in it, chat. Revel in it. They did have a lot of mana. They did have a lot of mana. I don't play Magic because it's fun. I play Magic because I have an addiction. That's, at least you understand where you're at with yourself. At least you're, so long as you're being honest with yourself. So I want to drag our curve down a little bit here. Glorybringer out, Helix out. We'll bring in ways to destroy artifacts. Flamescroll is a sweet design. This is better than Glorious End. It's different. It's different. Offers utility in different ways. Glorious End being a red counterspell in situations is nice. It could be worth exploring. Oh, also, Bob, you can't play Flamescroll Celebrant and Transmogrify. Flamescroll's a creature on the front side, so it messes your Plat Angel up. and again, I'm not refuting there's skill to leverage here, Topher. But also, like, I also, at the same time, the average match is skillful, also acknowledges the fact that, like, there's a subset of games, even at the high level, where the game theory optimal thing to do in the Pact matchup is tap out on turn 3, 4, and 5, hoping they don't have it so you can play to the board. And then there's a subsection of those games where you tapped out because you needed to develop your board, and then they had it and you died, and you just didn't actually get to play an interesting skill-intensive game because of the core function. That's how the deck works at its core function. 40 dudes, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. So again, I think anybody that tries to call any given Magic deck skill list as being obtuse or ignorant or just like upset with the deck, but the quality of the gameplay varies greatly. Doesn't really matter what I take here. Also, I agree with the person in chat that said whatever's going on at the top level of play skill should mostly be a non-factor when considering how to balance things, because top levels of players make up a really small fraction of who does what in terms of gameplay, how many games are being played.
Virtue will always triumph.
Like, again, for people that weren't around for when Pioneer happened, look up Inverter Combo and Pioneer, and Inverter Combo and Pioneer definitely has this very direct parallel to... You think Magic is... It's different though, Topher. So, there's a difference between making my opponent have a sweeper that like is kind of okay and often virtually ends the game, and the game literally saying you win the game as a result. I don't think those two things are super comparable. Also, what you're saying there is a different control factor too, because when I choose to play an aggro deck, I am choosing to put myself in positions where I need to make them have a sweeper, whereas when I'm playing against Pact, I am not making the decision to play a deck that puts myself in that position frequently. I'm being forced into that position that feels bad. And there's a big difference between actively choosing to play a deck that says, okay, I'm gonna play Go Fish sometimes, and playing against a deck that forces you into that position. One is a player picking their gameplay experience, and the other one is the player having the gameplay experience that they have to have dictated to them. To finish my inverter thought, the inverter deck in Pioneer, basically that and a couple other combo decks in that format took a format that had a lot of people hyped and excited for it and basically sucked all the air out of the room. And Wizards of the Coast Defense, the people who balanced the formats for a long time, they said, oh, we didn't do anything about this because the inverter deck only has a 49% win rate. And it's important to understand that at the end of the day, only looking at a deck's win rate isn't what you should be doing. How decks feel to play with and against matters. And yeah, fun is subjective, but there are definitely specific types of play patterns that are more fun and more less fun to a wider variety of people than others. So you can't say this thing's fun for everybody, but you can definitely say most people dislike this thing. Like you can study things like that. You discuss and high-level balance not be important as an average game balance. As a long-time high-level tournament player, I've always been bummed when the games always try to balance around casual and the competitive format gets dull. You, as a high-level tournament player, don't matter. The number of people who are high-level tournament players versus the number of people who are casual players, you are greatly outnumbered. And organizing and making sure things are balanced around something that largely only impacts a very small number of people just doesn't make sense. Why would I make decisions to balance my game around something that impacts 30 people as opposed to something that impacts 3,000 people? And obviously those ratios are different. It's probably like 3,000 and 300,000 or whatever. But yeah, that's how businesses work. You don't let the outlier case scenario dictate how your stuff works. You let the average case scenario dictate how your stuff works. So, and this is something that is always interesting. I always hear people compare esports and regular sports. All comparisons of esports and traditional sports are fundamentally flawed at a base level because traditional sports and esports exist for fundamentally different reasons. Professional level sports leagues exist at their core to sell ad space and to make a profit that way. Esports exist as an advertising vector to get people to occasionally play Magic. So like the NFL isn't convincing you go down to the YMCA or your local whatever and play football. Whereas, like, the MPL exists solely because they want to encourage people to go play Magic. Gremildon, thanks for the 1.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back. To the person that asked how this deck's been, super reasonable. I like this archetype a lot. I know hundreds of people that watch the NFL but don't play football. I don't know a single person that watches the MPL and doesn't play Magic at least a little. Yeah, exactly that. Esports in general is a loss leader for the companies that engage at them because esports is companies spending their advertising budget to advertise in a particular way. This is about to hurt. Alright, hopefully we draw an untapped land next turn. That's not true for all esports. It's probably not true. StarCraft and fighting games. Alright, guess what? There's a reason why StarCraft 2 has largely whelmed and fallen off in terms of esports investments. Go compare how much money Blizzard puts into StarCraft 2 versus like someone like Riot puts into their big esports, or Counter-Strike Go and stuff like that. Zaller, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, like, I agree with you that that's probably something of an exception, but also look at how those are handled. So, like, there's also, because those are the exception to what we're talking about in a degree. How much will Niv ramp with Midnight Clock cost you? By Niv ramp, do you mean, Perunes? The blue-red one? Can we get a second untapped land in a row? Nailed it. And again, like, to the people that are actuallying me about all these little nickel and dime details where you've got corner cases that are like exceptions to what I'm talking about, sure. You're probably right that I've been well actuallyed. But talking about the context of like what Magic does and how Magic works, which is what I'm currently playing and I'm talking about at a base level, well, I'm correct. So you're right that if I was some kind of idiot who was trying to tell you that 100% of the time this is how all of it works. We already went over those, Reclaimer. Yeah, like I don't, like, you're right, like the corner case is there and it exists, but like it's also like not relevant to what we're talking about. All right, so they're probably a Gear Hulk deck, right? Probably leave a couple of these in for punching through to also bubble a Gear Hulk. Our Reidanes and Rest in Peace and our Marius here all look good. Yeah, Gideon's just like a fine dumb beater in this matchup. This probably isn't good enough. We're missing white mana. We don't have any of our really important hoser cards. This is fine. We've got Adanto's pretty good. I'm gonna mulligan the Glorybringer. It's a little slow to keep to start. The best players determine a lot about the metagame and how the average player approaches the game. Completely disagree with you. I think they determine something of the game, but, you know, Croaky's probably does as much or more to determine what the metagame looks like than a majority of the MPL does, honestly. And, like, big YouTubers like Covert Go Blue, like... I think Vryn's Prodigy's okay first arc. I mean, it's coming eventually, right? I can't even name who's in the MPL. Like, if you were like Jeff, who got into the MPL and who rotated out of it, I have no idea. I know the people that I can tell you from the MPL that are still in the MPL are like people that were like good at Magic in like 2018 and 2017 that were there initially. Yeah, Saffron Olive, right? Like, people like that do more to define what's going on than anything. For the 3/4 of a year, we'll see. Yeah, like Reed Duke and William Jensen are still there, and PV's still there. Brad Delson exists. BBD, I think. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see what Wizards does with organized play over the next little bit, because I feel like it's tough to describe what happened with the MPL as anything other than like, and what I'm about to say is it isn't a reflection on any of the individual people in the MPL itself, but I feel like what the MPL was trying to accomplish, it didn't accomplish successfully. I have a couple sequencing decisions here. They fought over the last Rest in Peace, which makes me think they could fight over this next one. Yeah, do I just like... Well, do I silence to make sure the Rest in Peace resolves here? I think that's what we're supposed to do. I think we're supposed to do this and then Rest in Peace. I mean, like, there's like lots of things you could say for like why the MPL did or didn't do what it did. And there's a lot of factors that went into it. Why it was or wasn't successful, but at the end of the day, I feel like whatever their initial, I feel like if you asked whoever initially envisioned the MPL, did this accomplish what you wanted it to accomplish, their answer would be a resounding no. Is my feelings on it. Alright, so do we put Chad into play here? And then I can chump block with Blinkmoth Nexus if they Gear Hulk me. Keep him alive. Because if I play Chandra and they Gear Hulk, they just get to kill Chandra. Yeah, Day 9 hosts some of the big Magic Esports stuff. In fact, for those of you that are super plugged in and the MPL is super popular and you all are in the know here, naturally all 1,300 of the people that are currently here know that there's an MPL split going on this weekend that's going to determine the last few slots at Worlds, right? I assume naturally all of you that are informed enough to be here watching Magic the Gathering on Twitch know that. Actually, to be fair, I don't actually know if they're called MPL splits anymore. MPL split might be the incorrect terminology. There's an event that involves MPL players this weekend, though. It may or may not be called a split. I actually don't know.
You've got nerve.
Snorches, thanks for the year and a half. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I only keep up with one schedule, and that's Hoots. That's exciting. Speaking of, the next Hoots tournament's going to be May 30th. You want to mark your calendars down. We'll have a sign-up page open soon. I'm talking with the Cool Stuffing people. We talked about this yesterday. Cool Stuffing, speaking of successful tournaments, Cool Stuffing has been super happy with the Hoaglandia Opens, and we're going to be getting extra prize support for the next Hoaglandia tournament. The entry fee will still just be $5 plus a sub to the channel, but we're gonna have more store credit to dole out, which is sweet. They've been happy with our viewer counts and our production overall, so which is great to hear. I am going to suffix that with I am planning to take June off of running tournaments. So June I've got some extra stuff scheduled with the kids on the weekends with scouting and other things, and so June there will not be an open, but we're gonna have one May 30th. CGB is gonna be joining me for the next open again. He's coming back. Excited to have him again. This is fine. I've got Helix into Spellbinder if we don't draw land. So July, I'm gonna have some extra personal stuff going on. Or June, we'll be back. We're back in July. So my plan, we're gonna do one May 30th, and then we're gonna take like 5 weeks off, and then after the summer set releases in July, we'll be back. Was this time off approved by Twitch yet? Well, I'm still planning to stream like my normal times. I'm just gonna be taking off. I'm not gonna be working on the weekends. I was a scout growing up. My wife and I actually met through scouting. We were in the venturing program together during high school / undergrad. No, not bad form to watch the tournament at all. That you're playing in it. Just don't watch if you're a feature match. When is the Pinewood Derby card making sure? Actually, fun fact, with all of the plague and stuff going on, we actually live streamed my kids' Pinewood Derby on Twitch this year for the pack to watch since they couldn't all get together. I got to use some of my day job skills to show off and make that happen. Do we get to watch it? No, it already happened. It was a pseudo private stream just for me. I didn't want to like plug it and have like 1,200 random people show up to my kid's Pinewood Derby stream. that felt like it wouldn't have been appropriate. I've seen you all. I've seen how you behave in chat. Listen. What's an MPL split? It's when the MPL does acrobatics and the highest scoring is based on who can do the most efficient splits at the end. Alright, so I could Gideon bubble the Spellbreaker, but if I do that and they end up with a questing beast, I get slaughtered. I think that's still the right line. It could be right to Skyclave this turn, though. It's the 13 months are large. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And RE, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I think we're on the make 'em have questing beast plan. I guess Bonecrusher Giant, like, this card's really bad against Skrull. Bonecrusher Giant also screws with this. I don't know, so Cleave actually isn't that big of a failure spot for us, because I can, like, kill the thing they put Cleave on.
My training.
Okay, so if this was the right play last turn, it's the right play again this turn, right? Because this is exerted. And then next turn, I can Helix this before it gets to do its thing. The opponent didn't realize that Questing Beast beats Gideon, so we've got that going for us. I think there's a chance we're dead anyways, but... yeah, no third white here is rough. Is this a spell or a land? Could go either way. Yeah, I think it's a spell. If we're living, it's probably a spell. Cleave is on this turn now though, so probably dead. Okay, so need to bring in a bunch of cheap spot removal. Adanto's really not super exciting. Reidane making company and Cleave cost more is often relevant. We do that. Chandra's a little too slow here. They're too aggressive. pretty good. Bonecrusher is low-key one of our best cards in this matchup. Just trades 2 for 1 really solidly. Lets you curve out 2-3 all on its own. Fog is the root of all evil. No 1-drop, no 2-drop. We misclick? Exiling Cleave basically gets rid of it, thanks to how much creature removal we have. Offer a trade here. And then next turn we'll get to step on something plus play a blocker. And the hard game is going to be the one that's on the draw. One of the tough parts about this deck having no 1-mana plays in it is that these games on the draw can be rather challenging at times. Try and see how we do for game 3 here on the draw. Basically mulliganing any opener that doesn't have Helix or Bonecrusher Giant in it, I think. I feel like I want like one more piece of, like, if you look at how I'm sideboarded here, I feel like I want one more card, because I would like to cut all my Adanto Vanguards in this matchup, and we can't currently do that. Sounds like not amazing, but it's definitely keepable. Blinkmoth has been very good in these sets so far today. Been happy with that inclusion. And War Elves is so good. Unless this puts 6 cards in the bottom, I assume we're dead. Well, shit. Even if we had a land tier, you're just not capable of beating their curves like that when they play Lane War Elves and you're on the draw. Our lack of we just don't have we can't stay on curve with them, and they just don't give us enough time to make up for the tempo loss. Alright, so thoughts on what we had going on here. I liked the Gideons overall. I don't know if I liked the Gideons enough to play the main deck. The Gruul matchup, while not terrible, is far from free, and having 3 cards in my main deck here that are just like really pretty bad in that matchup because of their mixture of Questing Beast and Bonecrusher Giant did not feel great. I think I want these copies in the 75 though. Maybe we leave. We did play against Pact, and Gideon was directly responsible for match wins there. These Archons are good enough. Maybe we get rid of those. And then I have another sideboard slot here. We could play another piece of removal for the Gruul matchup. We could play like another Abrade, another Justice Strice, a Deccan Stone. We just continue coward splitting the removal. Just refuse to block warriors. Just have different pieces of spot removal that are good in different edge cases here. And then what do I have? Two Gideons and one Reidane in the main. Yeah, I think that could be fine. I've got one main deck slot here. And I could slot something else into. It could just be a main deck Gideon. Card's fine. It's like decent against control. It's like only really sucks against Gruul. I think most non-Gruul spots you're pretty happy to have a copy of him. And that leaves me one more board slot here. For people that haven't seen my sideboarding lessons before, let's do it. Let's do a quick sideboarding lesson here. Let's figure out what we want to do. This is the last Magic deck we're going to play today. We're going to figure out what the last sideboard slot is for an update my what's it called tonight? My website tonight, but it is the last deck of the day. So for example, let's think about how I want my deck to look against Gruul. So do I need another card for Gruul? Against Gruul, I want my spot removal in, and I want to cut the Gideon. And I want to cut the Adanto Vanguards. And then I look at my deck here, and I kind of like all of the cards that are in our deck right now. Like I don't know that I really feel like I need another card for the Gruul matchup. Looking at this, like I don't have any cards in my deck that I'm like, yeah, that card sucks. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want that last card in the sideboard to be, Sleepy Dog. So here, thinking about the Gruul matchup, I probably don't want a card for the Gruul matchup. And now let's do this for a couple of other common matchups. So clone. What do I think? What do I think of my deck against Tainted Pact, for example? So it's Tainted Pact. I want these Gideons. I want these Thalias. And what do I not want against Tainted Pact? Lightning Helix kind of sucks. Probably don't love Skyclave Apparition. It's like fine there, but not amazing. So like maybe I want an extra card we can bring in the Tainted Pact matchup. Because it looks like I wouldn't mind not having all 4 copies of this post board there. Like occasionally tagging some of their different utility cards seems fine, but they're generally speaking not going to have enough good targets for this for you to want to leave all of them in. Maybe a slot for that. What is our control matchup look like? Against blue-white control, I want to cut Skyclave, I want to cut Lightning Helix, I want to bring in Thalia, rip apart Gideon, and Awakened Inferno. So my control ins and outs look like they're probably fine. All right, so I wouldn't mind another card for the Demonic Pact matchup. So what's and again, like this is if you're someone that's trying to figure out like 1, what your sideboard plans look like, and 2, how to build your sideboard, this is how you should approach it. You should take your deck and you should lay it out. You should think, okay, how am I sideboarding here? I want to think about what does my post board plan look like? Do I have cards in my deck that I want to get rid of? Do I have too many cards for these? And going ins and outs like that will help you figure out, you know, do you have too many cards for a given matchup? Because if you like look at your 75 cards and you have like 63 cards you want in a given matchup, then that's too many. Damping Sphere is not good. I think I had an Archon in here for the set. One Archon's probably fine. God, this deck would love Pyroblast. This deck would love Pyroblast. So the problem with Hushbringer is that we're an Elite Spellbinder Skyclave Apparition deck. So I don't think we can play that card because it hurts us too much. I think an Archon of Emeria slows them down. They can technically combo you through Archon of Emeria because they can like end step on your turn, Pact, deck themselves, untap Oracle, but then add some trickery to it for them. It usually gives you an extra turn to beat them. I think actual factual Tybalt's trickery is not good. Speaking of trickery, I think Archon's better because Archon can come in against Archon can come in against things like Phoenix. No, we just looked at how the sideboard lines up, but we can cut like 1 or 2, but we can't cut all of them. And in fact, you don't want to cut all of them because tagging things like Search for Azcanta or Maze Mind Tome is fine. All right. Anywho, I'm happy with this. My final thought is that the split on Blinkmoth and Shatterskull felt really good. This card attacking let us increase our clock in a couple of pivotal points in a way that was really good, so I liked it. So I'm going to update the red-white mid-range list on the website to be this. I was planning to add some Gideon to the trials anyways. It was good to get some games in and feel like where I want them and what numbers they were in, so we're going to